Thank you. Thank you, Cyril. Those are really good things. I wrote down those 5 points, and I hope that you did as well. I'm sure we can get them in the chat and get them those 5 things that we need to remember. And this is why we're doing this and why I've come along to invest in you and to share the things that I have learned so that to help you realize what you want to do with your life and who you want to be. So today we're going to talk about quality of character. And this morning as I was waking up, one of the first things that I do in the morning is I grab my phone. I'm still in bed. I'm pushing either snooze or stop. If I'm still lying in bed, I usually press snooze just in case I drift back into sleep. But the other thing that I do is I open the Bible app. And there are so many things on social media that end up dragging us down and being negative and kind of starting to eat away at us. And I don't want to start my day like that. So I just open up the Bible app, and I look at the verse for today. Today's verse is Ephesians 2:10. For we are God's handiwork. You, whether you realize it or not, are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for you to do. I found this so encouraging for me personally to remember I'm God's handiwork and He has prepared good things for me to do. But I wanted to share that with you today because you are God's handiwork. Whether you are one of our students, one of our family coaches or mentors, you are God's handiwork and God has prepared good things for you to do today. So I would encourage you to find a Bible app or a positive type of app so that every day that you are putting healthy, positive things in your day and starting off your day on the right foot. So that was the first thing. The second thing I wanted to show you is this. Now, depending on when you were born, maybe you don't know what this is, but I think most people do. This is an Etch-A-Sketch. And it's really cool. You move these knobs and it writes, but only in straight lines. If you want to make something curvy, you have to kind of move a little bit this way and a little bit with your other hand all at the same time. But the cool thing about this is no matter what you're creating, if you take a wrong turn, if you forget which way to go and you choose the wrong way to go, all you have to do is shake it up and you can start again. And this is a great illustration in our life. Our life is full of choices and we learn from our mistakes. We are professional mistake makers and we learn from those mistakes. But then what we need to remember, I made a bad choice. That wasn't a good thing. All right, I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to shake it up and I'm going to start again. I'm going to go that way instead. So I just want to remind you that no matter what, if you realize that was a really wrong choice, learn from the mistake, shake it up, start again in making good choices. This is an important part in our life and in our character. So today we are going to talk about quality of character. And I want you to think about someone who you admire. Think about someone who you admire or you really respect in your life, or maybe a famous person or something. And I'd like you to go in the chat and write the name of someone who you really admire or respect and why. Think of just someone that you admire or respect and why. Maybe it's, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay.
Can the mentors also do it?
Yes, everyone. Think about
course.
Everyone can participate. We like whole room participation. And someone you admire, you respect, and why. And we should be populating our chat line with things. If you notice, if I'm not looking in the computer, it's in the screen. It's because I'm looking on the computer to see what is being populated in our chat line. Someone who you admire, it could be someone you know personally. Maybe it's your grandmother because of how she serves your family. Maybe it's the president because he's leading this country and he's a leader in the nation. Maybe it's a musician or someone in Hollywood because of the great job that they do or what they stand for.
Mother, spouse, leader, smart, cares for others, classy. My parents, even now, that I am an adult, they still go above and beyond for me. Mrs. Michelle Obama has a great character. When bullies go low, she goes high. Grandmother who raised me because the woman I am today.
Wonderful.
To love everyone. My dad, because no matter the challenges he has had in life, he presses through, does not give up, and still spends time with the Lord.
Awesome.
He has taught me since a little girl, God is trustworthy. He takes care of me and will never leave me alone. Ayoka said, my mother. Jerry says, Joy wins. Is a godly woman who is very strong in faith, wisdom, and understanding. Maddie says, my granny. So she raised me to be respectful and taught me a mindset to always treat people with respect and have love for them no matter what. Frederick Douglass. And so this list goes on and on and on.
Great list. Great list. And a shout out to Joy Wins, who put her name in there. That's my mom, and I agree. She is definitely someone I admire and want to be like when I grow up. So here are some words that talk about character. The first word, and I would love you to put just the first person that comes to mind when you think of this word. The first word up here at the top, perseverance, which means continued effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties. So who's the first person that comes to mind when you think of perseverance? The second word, honesty. Being honest, telling the truth. Who's the first person that comes to your mind that has that character? And maybe it's the same person as perseverance. All right, the third one, discipline. Now, I'm not talking about a punishment. I am talking about orderly, prescribed conduct. Someone who's like a disciplined athlete. They get up early. They practice their sport. They eat healthy. Someone who's very self-controlled. So far, we have perseverance, honesty, discipline. Okay, our next word.
Can I read out
Yes,
some of the
let's hear
answers?
some of those.
Rashanda says her father. Brenda Gibbs says her grandmother. And we also have Paul F. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to pull up back again. Harlot Tubman. Jen says mom and me. Miss Jean says my niece, Renee. Rashanda says Lisa. Alice Ryan says my dad. Brenda Gibbs says my daughter. Jean Thomas says LeBron James. Rashanda says brother. And for 1 and 3, Shane says from the Rudy from the movie based on the true story. And so the list keeps coming.
That's great.
That's
Yeah, Rudy, he did show perseverance. He just kept going and kept going. That's a good movie. All right, the next word is patience. Who comes to mind when you think of patience? This is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. When I was a kid, we had heard this record player, and this little guy was like, have patience, there is no need to worry. But patience is good. Who comes to mind? The next one is wisdom, the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment, the quality of being wise. It is so key to surround ourselves with wise people, because alone we might not be able to make the best decisions. But when we have some key friends, adults in our life that we can trust who are wise to bounce our ideas off of, that will help us with making life decisions. It is wise to have wise counsel. All right, who comes to mind with having the character of being responsible or responsibility? The opportunity or ability to act independently and make decisions without authorization. Who do you know that's really responsible?
So Miss Brenda says, like, when it comes to patience, it's her sister Shirley. And when it comes to the second one that you had on your list, wisdom. It is her other sister Gladys. And Jan says her friend Lorraine. And, we also have Jamarcus says my mom. It's usually like, when I look at this list of like, what you're showing, Dr. Les, mostly I see it's my mom, it's my dad, it's my sister. We're not thinking about like, the world's, patient man or, the wisdom comes from the world. It's the people around us.
Yeah, our community, our loved ones, our family. Maybe we have some amazing teachers or guidance counselors, pastors, people in your life, coaches, definitely. All right, here's our last three. Courage. Who comes to mind when I say courage? The ability to do something that frightens one. It's like this is dangerous, but you have to do it anyway. This last week, I got stuck in a blizzard in Denver, like literally in a car for hours, stuck in a blizzard. And I knew that I had to fight through the blizzard to get help. And so even though it was really dangerous, I needed to have courage so that I could get my friend and myself out of the dangerous situation that we were in. So who do you know that is courageous? Loyalty, a strong feeling of support or allegiance. Who is the most loyal person you know? And finally, compassion, someone who is sympathetic, caring, and concerns for the suffering or misfortune of others. What do we have?
So we have still coming in from the last one, we still have people are saying wisdom, my late pastor, Bishop Sidney Buxton. And we have Jamarcus says, my grandmother for the courage, loyalty, and compassion. And Jean Thomas says, my friend Gerald. So the list keeps. Go ahead and send us this list. Everything that you put in the chat, we have a way to capture them as well. So we will capture that and we will add it to the list of things that we're going to store it online.
That's so great. So our takeaways for today. Life is full of choices. And depending on the choices we make, depends on how our life is going to play out. Now, there are certain things about life and circumstances that we don't have control over, but we have control over how we're going to respond to it and what we're going to do moving forward. For example, you might not be able to control what city you were born in, or who moves in next door, or the other kids in your class, but you have control over who you choose to surround yourself with, who you choose to be your friends. Strong character is one of the most important qualities of a healthy relationship. Something to remember is that if you are looking for a friend or a significant other who exemplifies strong character, you need to be a person who also models strong character and qualities. So I have two things for you to discuss with your mentors today as we move on. For sure, you need to discuss the 5 things that Cyril talked about in terms of starting to prepare for college, even if you're only in the 9th grade. The more you think about it and start putting these thoughts together of who you want to be, what you want to study, but thinking about your application, preparing for a strong GPA means you need to do your homework this weekend and you need to study. Preparing for your test scores with SATs or ACTs and practicing those things. Practicing essay writing, just get a pen out and write about something. And the 5th thing was the FAFSA and how important it is to watch those YouTube videos, look at that PowerPoint and get the information together so that you can be in the 30% that gets accepted and not in the 70% that gets dismissed. We want you to get accepted and get the funding that you need. So, to discuss with your mentors today, how can circumstances change depending on someone's character? How can circumstances change someone's character? Because maybe someone was really amazing as a teenager, but by the time they're 40, they're not great to be around. How can circumstances change someone's character? So go ahead and discuss that with your mentor. And secondly, discuss how consistent character builds trust and dependability. If Cyril is consistently an amazing man who chooses the right decisions, I know I can trust him and I know I can depend on him. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Liz.